समभिनन्द्य किञ्चिदेव अहं तत्र भारतीयदर्शनेषु सामाजिकन्यायः इति विषये किञ्चिदेव अहं वक्तुम् इच्छामि. So it is a very great pleasure to speak about such very important issues pertaining to the social justice, social equity, and all other such things as we hear them in our Indian philosophies. Though our study of Indian philosophy is from totally different angle, but still this is very important issue to be addressed. So I have tried my level best to speak about some of the things that we encounter in the Indian philosophies. What is the philosophy and what is the aim of the philosophy? If we understand this thing, then it will be clear. What is philosophy? There is no such clear distinction, a clear boundary mark to say this is philosophy, this is Bharatiya Darshana, this is not Bharatiya Darshana. For example, we have Vedas, we have Upanishads, we have Brahmanas, Aranyakas, and whole Indian literature, it follows this Vedic literature. All the Darshanas, irrespective of their nature, even Jainism and Buddhism, they all take much of the matter from the Vedic literature. So the Vedic literature itself can be called as Darshana, philosophy, because they are the real philosophers who have seen the things, they have perceived the things. They are not something speculative persons like today this share market will go up to this 550 marks. No, they were not such speculative people. They were able to perceive the dharma and adharma very much by their own senses. That's why dharma is the basic structure, basic element, basic canvas of the Vedic rishis, Vedic acharyas, shastrakaras. It is for the Jaina munis. They have also strived to uphold the path of dharma, and Buddha also tried to do same thing. Their ways may be little bit different, but their goal was same, to reach the ultimate Paramapada, to liberate ourselves from the clutches of this samsara, this maya, this ajnana, this karma. That's why they are all on the same path. We can certainly claim their aim of, their way of understanding the world, because the philosophy involves the three things: Ishvara, Jiva, and Jagat. How is Ishvara? How is this Jiva? How he is created, or whether he is eternal, whether he is created with this body, and all other things we are always discussing in the philosophy. And also the Jagat, the evolution of this Jagat, creation of this world, how these things happen. So all these different issues, theories, they are found in different philosophies, in different Indian philosophies. They are all based on the path of dharma and adharma. For example, this Vaisheshika Sutra itself says, Yataha abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhihi saha dharmaha. Athato dharmam vyakhyasyaamaha. Vaisheshika Sutra says, now we are going to discuss about the dharma. And what is dharma? Yataha abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhihi saha dharmaha. The dharma is such a thing which helps us to attain abhyudaya, the right and virtuous life in this world, and also the liberation after this body, both Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa, they can happen only through the dharma and adharma. Hence, understanding the canvas of dharma and adharma itself is very important for all the philosophers, Indian philosophers. It is very important to recall some of the wordings of Sri Jaitirtha Muni in the 14th century, who belongs to the era of 14th century, where he is discussing about the necessity of accepting dharma and adharma. Why should we accept the concept of dharma? Why should not we reject the dharma? Because this dharma is a thing which holds the whole society. Dharmo dharayate prajaha. Dharma is not simply doing sandhyavandana or going to temple or performing yajna yagas, etc. But it is about the upholding principles of the society. That's why accepting dharma and adharma is very much essential to the welfare of the whole society. Without this dharma, there can be no society. But this Charvaka, he does not want to accept the dharma. He wants to reject the theory of dharma, ideology of dharma. Because dharma is blocking him from free life. The free life is the aim of Charvaka. Of course, we may not be able to see Charvakas in the philosophical arena, but certainly we can see them everywhere in this world. Everybody is a Charvaka. In US, in England, maybe Germany, and also, why not India? There are also many Charvakas who want to live free life. Free life guarantees them no restriction in any frontier. You can eat anything, you can enjoy anything, you can earn anything without any restriction. That is the problem. That is where we had encountered with people like Hitler. He wants to gain everything for himself. He wants everything for himself. He wants the whole world in his control. That is the Ishwaroham Aham Bhogi Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi. That is the height of arrogance. But these people, they don't realize they are all very mortals and they are bound to the way of death, destruction, and they are pulling this world into the way of destruction. So this free life theorists, they argue there is no need to accept dharma and adharma. But Jaitirtha argued, no, if you don't accept this dharma and adharma, you will be in a very difficult situation. The whole social structure will be destructed. There will be chaos, anarchy, destruction everywhere. You will have problem even in your own home. People will snatch everything that you have, because if there is no concept of dharma and adharma, people will be free to snatch anything, to steal anything, to enjoy anything, to destroy anything. That is not acceptable. So those people who are worried about the physical laws or the national laws, they may abstain from such things. But there are many such crimes which may not be punishable as per the rules of the land, but still people refrain from understanding or committing such mental crimes. For example, I can show one example. I want to kill somebody X. I want to kill. I am not exactly I am going to kill. I am not holding pistol in my hand. I am thinking that I should kill him. It is a crime. This crime is not punishable according to the law, because I have not committed anything. I have not said to anybody, I will kill you. I have not taken the banduk in my hand, nor I have hit him. There is nothing. The whole concept is in my mind. But this is crime. You have to do prayashchitta for it. This is the, otherwise you will be punished in the naraka, because it is the manasika dharma. It is the daihika dharma, vachika dharma, manasika dharma, everything is there. That's why such kinds of manasika dharma, vachika dharma, they are also punishable. Without the concept of dharma, there will be no restriction, or we will not be able to prohibit or prevent such crimes in this world. That's why this concept of dharma and adharma is very important, without which the whole world will be in the anarchy and destruction. That's why Tirtha says these Charvakas, they are trying to dismantle the concept of dharma, so everybody will be free. But these Astika Darshanas, they are trying hard to block this Charvakas' efforts, prevent Charvakas from doing so. Jaitirtha says, Tadunmulanarthancha parasya prayasah. Charvaka is trying to destroy this dharma, but that is not happening because the Astika Darshananam anunmulitatvat. Astika Darshanas are not totally relegated to the oblivion. That's why people are following the Astika Darshanas. That's why people are following the concept of dharma. That's why there is no such kind of anarchy and destruction everywhere in this world. Though ordinary people may not be very much high philosophers like those persons sitting in the universities and in the big mathas, but they are all very much practicing philosophers. That's why this country is still India, it is not America. In America, you can see one person coming and shooting 20% immediately. There is no prohibition. There is no way, there is no mechanism to prevent such killings. But India, still people have the concept of dharma and adharma. That's why these people are living happily in India. That we can say it is because of the restriction or the concept of dharma and adharma, yama and niyama. Here we have in the Yoga Shastra we have this concept of yama, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. These are all very important things which are helping society to sustain. Otherwise, Indian people, they had their own kind of social justice. What is kind of this social justice is, there is aparigraha. These people, they used to earn money, but not the excess money. Or even if they earn excess money, they used to spend it on the welfare of the society. That is called as aparigraha. But now, with the Western concepts of globalization and liberalization, the whole world is hell-bent upon the greed, earn money as much as possible and enjoy it. But there is no concept of enjoyment in India. Of course, you can enjoy for yourself, but you cannot amass, you cannot use each and everything for yourself. Tair dattan apradayebhyaha yo bhungte stena evasah. It is what Bhagavad Gita says. If you eat yourself without feeding others, you are a thief, you are a chora, you will be banished from the society. Our people, our acharyas, our munis and rishis, they wanted to prevent rich people from unnecessary spending and incessant bhoga. That is the very important contribution of the India's philosophies. These are all called as Mahavratas, the big restraints, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, as per the Yoga Shastra. Otherwise, it is very difficult to maintain the whole world. Jati, desha, kala, samaya, anavachinnaha, sarvabhaumaha, mahavratam, ahimsa, satyam, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha. Yoga Sutra says. And ahimsa, satya, ahimsa, not troubling others, and satya, always speaking truth, and asteya, not stealing, not amassing wealth with the illegal means, and brahmacharya. Of course, brahmacharya is our orientation towards Brahman, but also it is limited kind of enjoyment that we can say as brahmacharya, and aparigraha, not aiming to steal money from others or amass the money. That is aparigraha. Parigraha is earning more and more money. That aparigraha is also a very important thing in the yamas called by Yoga Sutra. And Yoga Sutra says these are all dharmas which should be practiced by each and everybody in the society. It has no restriction of jati, it has no restriction of birth, it has no restriction of desha or kala or samaya. So it is all sarvabhaumaha. It is all applicable to the whole world, not only to the one region of India or the whole Indian country, but it is applicable to the whole world. That's why it is called as sarvabhaumaha mahavratam. And even this Nyaya Shastra, it speaks about the yama and niyama. Of course, everybody knows what is Nyaya Shastra. Nyaya Shastra is all about the pramanas. If you understand all the Shodasha Padarthas, then you will be traveling to the moksha. Shodasha Padartha Tattvajnana Nishrayasa Adhigamaha. Shodasha Padarthanam Tattvajnana Sadharma Vidharmayabhyam Tattvajnana Nishrayasa Adhigamaha. If you understand all these Padarthas, Pramana, Prameya, Samshaya, Prayogana, Drishtanta, etc., you should understand them, the similarity and dissimilarity with other things, and you will be liberated. But this is very apparent and superficial view. You are not going to be liberated with only the understanding of these Shodasha Padarthas, because everybody has understood all these Shodasha Padarthas and they have discussed these Shodasha Padarthas for the whole life, but nobody is liberated. Why? The Nyaya Sutra says, Tadartham yamaniyamabhyam atma samskaraha yogacha adhyatma vidyupayihi. This Pramana Shastra, the Nyaya Shastra is the Pramana Shastra. Pramana Shastra gives you the basic idea of the Padarthas. It gives you idea of the Pramanas, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda, Upamana. These Pramanas you can understand. After understanding these Pramanas, you can understand the Prameyas, all the Shodasha Padarthas. But journey does not stop there. You have to go a long way to attain moksha. You have to do yama, niyama, and you have to do all the Ashtanga Yoga. Yogacha Adhyatma Vidyupayihi. You have to perform tapasya, then only you will be able to get the moksha. That's why, even according to the Nyaya Shastra, these are all very important things. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and all other things, they are all very important things. Likewise, this Purvamimamsa Shastra, it also discusses Athato Dharmam Vyakhyāsyama, this Athato Dharma Jidnyasa. Again, what is the Dharma? The Dharma is very clear according to the Mimamsakas. Chodhana Lakshanaha Arthaha Dharmaha. What is Dharma? Dharma is a thing that is understood through the Vedic sentences, that is the Dharma. And we have very lengthy definition of dharma in Mahabharata. Dharana dharma mityahu dharmo dharayate prajaha yatsyad dharana sanyuktaha sadharma iti kirtitaha yatsyad ahimsa sanyuktaha sadharma iti kirtitaha. Ahimsa is one of the key features of the dharma. Asteya is the key features of the dharma. Without this ahimsa and asteya, there will be no dharma. That's why if you have this ahimsa and asteya in your hand, then the whole society will be in a high justice, and the whole world will be justified. The wealth will be distributed accordingly, and people will be very much happy. And again, we have the concept of dharma in the Vaisheshika Sutra, sadharana dharma and asadharana dharma, swadharma. What are the swadharma? Swadharmas are the different dharmas according to their own ashramas and their own varnas. These are the swadharmas, varna dharmas, ashrama dharmas. And sadharana dharma is common to all the people irrespective of the ashrama and varna. So this kind of description we can see As I can quote a great philosopher, great modern philosopher, Sri Aurobindo. He says in his essay on the samurai and bourgeois, bourgeois, there is a big essay written by Sri Aurobindo on the samurai and bourgeois. He says the Brahmin who devoted himself to the poverty and crushed down every desire in the wholehearted pursuit of knowledge and religious self-discipline. It is the way Brahmanas they lived. They wanted to pursue the way of path of jnana, path of self-discipline and path of tapasya. Brahmanasya cha dehoyam kshudrakamaya neshyate krichraya tapase chaiva pretya ananta sukhaya cha. In the same manner, Kshatriya, who is not worried about money, who is hurling his life joyously into the shock of chivalrous battle, held life, children, possession, ease, happiness, and as mere dust in the balance compared with the honor and the Kshatriya dharma. It is the way Kshatriyas lived. The preservation of self-respect, the protection of the weak, the noble fulfillment of the princely duty. It is the duties of Kshatriya. The Vaishyas, who toiling all his life to amass riches, poured them out as soon as amassed in self-forgetting philanthropy, holding himself the mere steward and not possessor of his wealth. And the Shudra who gave himself his loyally to humble service, faithfully devoting his life to the dharma, however low in preference to the self-advancement and the ambition. These were the social ideals of this age. It is unquote. It is, I am quoting from the Sri Aurobindo about how dharma is understood by Sri Aurobindo. And we see many of the different dharmas, Brahmana dharmas and all other dharmas in our Apastamba Dharma Sutra and different Dharma Sutras. I am not going to have details about now, because we need to speak about some of the very important aspect, how social justice is reflected in Indian philosophy, taking one very important example from Mimamsa. So, the whole of Bhagavad Gita itself, it is about the social justice, how one should behave in the battlefield, in the house, in the his college days, and every stage of his life. It is all, everybody knows, all these things are known very much well. That's why I will not go to this thing now. There is a very, very important and interesting adhikarana in the Mimamsa. How this social justice is reflected there. There is one sentence in the Mimamsa, Purvamimamsa, that is called as Nishada Sthapatyadhikarana. Sthapatar Nishada Syat Shabda Samarthyat. This is the Nishada Sthapatyadhikarana, and it speaks about the Yajna of Nishada. And I am very much careful, and also listeners, they should be careful. We are not using these words in the context of the modern world. Modern world, this Nishada and all other words, they mean very different things. But I am speaking about what Shastras say, what Shastras speak, what Shastras mean really. So, there is a Nishada Sthapatyadhikarana which discusses whether a Nishada Sthapati can perform yajna or not. Because we find such an example, Vastu madhye raudram charum nirvapet yatra rudraha prajaha shamayet yetaya nishada sthapatim yajayet. We should have a raudra charu in the Vastu. Vastu, it is either home or a separate place. And we should prepare the Raudra Charu, the Charu that is addressed to the Rudra. Yatra Rudraha Prajaha Shamayet. This Vastu itself is the place where Rudra can help or entertains people. That is called as Vastu. That's why Yatra Rudraha Prajaha Shamayet. Then now it has spoken about the Charu and the Devata of the Yaga. But who is the performer of this Yaga? This is Nishada Sthapati Ishti. This is Ishti. Who should perform this Ishti? That is very important question. The Brahmana is very clear. Etaya Nishada Sthapatim Yajayet. Now we should make Nishada Sthapati perform this Ishti, perform this Yaga. So this is the basic subject or basic sentence that is being discussed. And who is the Nishada Sthapati is here. Who is the Nishada Sthapati meant here by the sentence of this Vedic injunction? That is very debatable question, because the Nishada Sthapati, even in the very ancient times, he was not a very well versed Vedic scholar, because only Vedic scholars, those who are well versed in the Vedic studies, they can perform the yajnas, but not the ordinary people who don't have any kind of introduction to the Vedic philosophy or Vedic procedure, yajna procedure. They are not allowed to perform these yajnas. But now here, this Nishada Sthapati, he is supposed to perform the yajna. So if this Nishada Sthapati, who is not in the three Varnas, who are normally acquainted with Vedic injunction or Vedic procedure of performing yajnas, then if he is not well versed, then how can he be initiated into this yajna? That's why we should take this word Nishada Sthapati as Nishadanam Sthapatihi. He is the leader of Nishadas. The person should not be a Nishada by himself, but he can be leader of the Nishadas. The leader can be any person. He is the leader of Nishadas. Like many people in modern day politics, he is such and such is the leader of this community. But that person may not belong to that community itself, but he is very dear to that community. In the same manner here, Nishadanam Sthapatihi, the leader of Nishadas. He can be leader of the Nishadas, but he may not necessarily be Nishada by himself. So he is well versed in the Vedic procedure, Vedic act of yajna. He can be perform this yajna. So this is the Purva-paksha. And Siddhanta says, no. Here, the Nishada Sthapati means he is the Nishada and he is Sthapati. He is the leader and he is also Nishada. He should perform the yajna. Because there is a Shabda Samarthyat. The very wording is very clear. Nishadanam Sthapatihi. It is Shashti Samasa is possible, but Nishadaschaso Sthapatischa. Here, it is natural way of understanding the words, that it means he is the Nishada and he is the Sthapati, he is the leader. By himself he is leader and he is also Nishada. He should perform the yajna. Because there is another Kutam Dakshina. What is the Dakshina he is supposed to pay? He is supposed to pay Dakshina of Kuta, which is available with only this Nishada. And all other people, all other Traivarnikas, they used to get Dakshina from in the form of silver or gold. But these Nishadas, they used to trade in Kutas, maybe in the bronze or anything of that kind.
आचार्य
हाँ
अत्र नेट् डिस्टर्बेन्स् अस्ति इति भाति।
सर्
हरि ओम्।
सर सम्यक् दृश्यते वा न वा?
आचार्य नेट्वर्क् सम्यक् नास्ति इति भाति। नेट्वर्क् सम्यक् नास्ति इति भाति।
न सम्यगेव अत्र दृश्यते, न सम्यगेव दृश्यते, अत्र अस्माभिः सम्यगेव दृश्यते, अत्र अस्माभिः सम्यगेव अन्येषामपि मुखं
भवतां वाणी मध्ये मध्ये कट् कट् भवति।
इतोपि अहं सम्मुखे एव आगच्छामि। इदानीं सम्यक्
इदानीं श्रूयते, सम्यक् श्रूयते।
अस्तु समीचीनं। सैड् इदानीं कथं श्रूयते सर?
इदानीं सम्यक् श्रूयते।
अस्तु तर्हि तत्र कण्टिन्यू कुर्मः। तत्र इतोपि कियान् समयः वर्तते? 10-15 निमेषाः मया स्वीकर्तुं।
15 निमेषाः।
एवञ्च the question is now solved according to the Mimamsa. The person who is supposed to perform this Nisha Raudra Ishti is the Nishada Sthapati. He is Nishada and he is Sthapati. He should perform the Yajna. This is the way our people understood the Vedic Yajna Vidhi. They were not discriminating. They were not prohibiting others from doing yajnas, because there is a Vedic injunction, Vedic vidhi, so he should be able to perform this yajna. There is no way we can block him. The Purvapaksha is such a way that he should not be led to perform this yajna, but Siddhanta is very clear. Though he is Nishada and he can be initiated into the yajna, and he is very much entitled to do this yajna. So this Nishada Sthapatyadikarana is one quite example. And now we should understand who is Nishada. I am speaking in the ancient term, not to be confused with modern day things. Who is Nishada? And for this we have ample quotations from the all Vedic Samhitas, Brahmanas and Aranyakas and all other Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana. We have so many things to understand how this word Nishada is understood by our people. Sometimes this Nishada, word Nishada is understood in some of the Dharma Shastras as a Sankirna Jati. Sometimes Sankirna Jati. But mostly this Nishada, he is not a Sankara Jati, but he is one of the important part of the whole society. They were all very much respected by the people, part and parcel of the whole society and the kingdom, because they used to man different waterways here in the society, and also fishing was their very important thing, as we see in the both Mahabharata and Ramayana. When Rama he reaches Ganga on his way to Vanavasa, he is welcomed by the Guha, who is Nishadadhipatihi. Tato Nishadadhipatim Društva Duradavasthitam Saha Saumitrina Ramaha Samagacchad Guhena Saha Tamartha Samparishvajya Guho Raghavam Abravit. Rama he saw this Guha, who is the king of Nishadas. If it is a very Sankara Jati and has no important role in the society, then there cannot be a king of Nishadas, a separate kingdom for them. That's why, and Ramayana is very much clear. Tatra Raja Guho Nama Ramasya Atmasakha Saka Nishada Jatyo Balavan Sthapatischete Vishwataha. Rama's father Dasharatha, he was very much in friendship with Guha's father. In the same manner, Rama was very much dear to the Guha, or Guha was very much dear to the Rama. That's why Ramayana says, Ramasya Atmasamaha Sakha. Tatra Raja Guho Nama Ramasya Atmasamaha Sakha. Atmasamah Sakha. He is like his prana himself. He is like Rama for Rama. He is not second to anybody else in the friendship. He is very much dear to the Rama. That's why Nishada Jatya, though he belonged to Nishada Jati, but Balavan, he is very powerful man, very powerful king. Sthapatischete Vishwataha, he is the leader of the whole kingdom. That's why Rama immediately hugged this Nishada Sthapati Guha, and then this Guha, he brought his some of the boats to get Rama into the other bank of the Ganga Nadi, and Rama then slowly went to the Dakshina. That's why Ramayana again and again says, Bhujabhyam sadurtabhyam pidayan vakyam abravit. Rama is hugging and he is touching and he is just pressing the shoulder of Guha. I am very much fortunate to see you again here. You are my very dear friend. Everything is fine in your country. And then Guha, he brings all the kinds of food for the Rama's entourage, because even Sumantra was there and many other people, they had followed the Rama there. And Guha, he brought everything, food for all the people. But Rama, he respectfully, he says to Guha, I am now Vanavasa, I am on Vanavasa, that's why I cannot take anything, any cooked food. I will take only fruits and all other things. Thus, he acts with, he has some very friendly interaction with Guha on his way to Vanavasa. That we can find there in the Ramayana. And in the Mahabharata, there is very interesting chapter about the all these Nishadas who climbed the ladder to the Swarga. Very interesting story. Once this sage Chavana, he was doing tapasya in the water, in the Ganga Nadi. Inside the water. He was there inside the water for many months altogether, because he is a great yogi. He could do so. But tatra tasyasatah kalaha samatito abhavan mahan. It was a great time that he spent in the water. Once there came many Nishadas. Jalahasta Mahadyute Nishada Bhavastatra Matsyodharana Nishchaya. They wanted to fish, have a fishing there. So they brought big nets and they made their netting, they threw the nets on the Ganga Nadi and they found something very substantial amount of fish there, because Gangetic fishes are very sweet as per the people who consume them, the Mallas. Even now people are there in the Varanasi and all other places. They enjoy the stay in Ganga and also the fish there. So these people, tataste bahubhir yogaihi kaivartyaha matsyakankshinaha Ganga yamunayor vari jalaihi abhikiram stataha. Then they made big nets and they brought something to the bank. What came in the net is very baffling to them. Babandhus tatra matsyamscha tathanya jalacharinaha. They brought some of the fishes and all other different creatures in the water, like tortoise and all other these cancers and all other things, different AD. I don't know what we can call in Hindi. Kulira and all other things which are commonly available inhabiting the waters. They all brought all these things to the bank. But with them, they had got this Tatha Matsyahi Parivratam Chavanam Bhrugunandanam Akarshayan Maharaja Jalenath Edurchaya. They had brought up this Chavana also, who was very much, who was totally covered with some kind of shaivala in the water. Because when something that stays in the water for many months, it is covered with all kind of blue or green, what we can say, there is fungus or some kind of herbs that grow in the water naturally. And this Chavana was also in the same manner. Nadi Shaivala Digdhangam Harishmashu Jatadharam Lagnaihi Shankanakhair Gatre Krodaihi Chitraihi Varpitam. And he had many of the Shankas growing on his body, because for a long time he was sitting in the water, and it is the natural thing that many Shanka, the creatures, they used to climb on his body, and they made his body their own home. They brought there. Now, when they saw this Rishi in their net, they were all confused. What to do now? Tam jalena uttradam drushtva te tada vedaparagam sarve pranjalayo dashaha shirobhi prapadanvi. They all fell in front of him. You are a great person. We are disturbing you in your tapasya. Please forgive me. Forgive us. It was the request of these Nishadas. Please forgive us. Ajnanadyat papam prasadam tatra nahkuru. Please forgive. It is our ignorance. We did not know that you are there. But don't worry. This Chavana said, don't worry. If you have caught me, and you sell me to somebody else. Then, because you have caught me in the net, I am your possession now. I am like a fish now. Please, you sell me to somebody else. You will buy me, and you will be happy with that money or whatever the thing. Then all these Nishadas, they went to Nahusha Raja. What to do with this Rishi who is asking for a price for himself? Then this Nahusha came. He wanted to buy this Rishi for 1,000 rupees. Not rupees in the present times, but whatever the ancient coins that they had. He offered 1,000. He declined, and again when price went up, but this Chavana, he never agreed to the price. Finally, this Nahusha, he made a plan. He brought a cow. So cow is invaluable. Then Chavana agreed to be sold in exchange of this cow. Then he made promise, made Ashirvada to Nahusha. Then this Nahusha also accepted the Ashirvada of this Chavana Maharshi. And this Chavana, he accepted. Uttishtham Yesha Rajendra Samyak Kritosmi Tenagha Gobhistulyam Na Pashyami Dhanam Kinchi Dehachyuta. I don't see anything that is equal to a cow. That is why if I am sold in exchange with the cow, I accept it. Then this Chavana, he blessed these Nishadas also. Tatastasya prabhavatte maharsher bhavitatmanaha nishadas tena vakyena sahamatsehi divam veyo. Anyhow, these fishes were killed because once they are brought up from the water, it's natural they will die. But with them, this Maharshi Chavana had come up, and with the Ashirvada of this Maharshi Chavana, these people, these even Nishadas, they were all liberated. They all went to the Swarga. Nishadas tena vakyena sahamatsehi divam veyo. It is the prabhava of the Matsya. So they were all very powerful people. They had to live on the fishing. Fishing was their trade. They used to man all the water bodies, waterways in the country. So very powerful people. But even for them there is a moksha, there is a possibility of moksha. Such things are narrated in the is Mahabharata. This is one thing. And many people, they used to marry these Nishadas also. Mahabharata counts one such instance where this Garuda, he catches one Brahmana and he wants to devour him, but Brahmana, he is prohibited from, he could not be devoured. Then he requests the Garuda, please leave my wife also, who is Nishada. Then Garuda leaves both of them, he lets them off, go whatever the way you want. That's why etamapi nishaditvam parigrihyashu nishpata nishadi mama bharyayam nirgacchatu mayasa. Nishadayi is the bharya of Brahmana. He says, then it is very respectable way of people, how the people behaved and how they lived, that we can understand with this example. And also very famous example of Nishada Raja Ekalavya, that we can have that example also. This Ekalavya, he is one of the very misunderstood case where everybody has tried to make him a big hero out of his career. This Ekalavya was a small boy of Nishada tribe, Nishada people. Tribe is a modern word created by this British people to demean all the original habitants of the India. They wanted to create a difference between the Aryans and the original tribes. That's why they called many people aboriginals and tribes, but whereas they called these people from outsiders. It is all total nonsense. All these people, they were all the inhabitants of this holy land. These people lived here for thousands of years without any disturbance, without any hatred. They all lived happily there. That's why even these Brahmanas, they could marry Nishadas there. There was no such a difference of opinion. So this Nishada, he is a Nishada boy who wants to study with Dronacharya, who wants to get trained in the Dhanurvidya by Dronacharya. But Dronacharya, he discourages this Ekalavya from studying. Shishyosi mama naishade prayoge balavattaraha nivartasva grahaneva anudnyatosi nityashaha. Though he wanted to accept this Ekalavya as his disciple, but he says, you are my student, don't worry, you will get the Dhanurvidya by yourself. Now you can go to your home. He says, Dronacharya says, Shishyosi mama naishade, you are my Shishya, don't worry. Then he goes away and he practices by himself, and he is very well versed in the Dhanurvidya. And the story is very well known to everybody. Then he becomes very well versed and he releases 7 arrows into the mouth of a dog. The Arjuna is confused how such a person can do such a marvelous thing. Then he asks Dronacharya to do something in this matter. So there should be nobody equal to Arjuna. So then Dronacharya comes and he asks for the thumb of this Ekalavya. So this Ekalavya, he immediately gives up his thumb to Dronacharya. Nevertheless, the Mahabharata says, though he could not practice archery with the cut thumb, but still he could do all those things. Tata sharantu naishadihi angulibhir vyakarsyata natatha cha sashigro bhut yatha puram naradhipa. Though he could practice the archery with all his remaining fingers, but he could not be as much as fast as he was earlier. It is what Mahabharata says. So many people everywhere in the world, and one of the great person who has written about this incident. He made a drama with this incident. He said Dronacharya accepted this finger of the index finger, or what this finger is called, this Angushta, thumb of Ekalavya. And because this Dronacharya, he stole the thumb of this Ekalavya, he had to sacrifice his life as the prayashchitta of that crime. It is for the thumb he had to give up his neck, because he was killed in the neck. That was the idea created by the drama that was created by one great person in the modern languages. And he wanted to create some kind of differences between the different castes, because he wanted to show them, because the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and these Shudras, they did not want to be given proficiency in the Dhanurvidya and all other things that he has written. But whereas Mahabharata does not say anything so, because he was not an ordinary boy. He was the king, the son of Nishada Raja, Hiranya Dhanushah Putraha.
Acharya.
Acharya. Yes.
Samyaha.
Yes.
Nimishadvaye samapayantu punaha avishtam agami shvaha.
Yes. So he is the Nishada Rajasya Hiranya Dhanushah Sutaha. He is not an ordinary man. He is the Hiranya Dhanus. He is the king of Nishadas. He is the son of Hiranya Dhanus. So he is not a very ordinary person to be discriminated but still Dronacharya, he gave him very much power. So he was then also this Ekalavya, he became a king of the country, Nishada country. And Nishada also means a country, because Mahabharata has got such great references to the Nishada country, where Arjuna, he went there and he had battles with the Nishada people there. And many people from the Nishada country fought in the side of Pandavas also. Some of them, for example, this Ekalavya was in the side of Kauravas. But he was supposed to be there, but Mahabharata says this Ekalavya was killed by Krishna. Many verses refer to the killing of this Ekalavya by Krishna. This instance is not very clear, but there are many such verses. So many people they fought in the side of Pandavas. Many Nishadas, they fought in the side of Kauravas. So they were all very respectable persons who had very much proficiency in the warfare and also in the statecraft and also in the managing the waterways and all other things. That's why when we see the ancient literature as it is, then they are all given full honors. But whereas the modern context, if you see, everything is crumbling, everything is very difficult, everything is diverging from one to another person. But we need to see the ancient Indian literature to understand the society of ancient India. Then only we will be able to understand how society behaved. That's why nowhere in the India there happened rebellion, there happened Kranti. For example, there happened many such revolutions in England, revolutions in Germany, revolutions in France, revolutions in Russia. But nowhere in the last 5,000 years there was a revolution against the statecraft or the reigning monarchs in India that we can see. It was not such a socially depriving society. It was not. Our Indian society was all inclusive. It had place for each and every section of the society. Each and every section was living very happily without any discrimination. That is very important thing. Whereas in the Western countries, we see there is a large gap between the different sections, and rich people and the poor. So poor people are so fed up, they don't want to live in the same company, so they had to do rebellion, and many times we have seen many reigning kings were hanged. They were all put into guillotines. All of the things that happened in the Western literature. But India, it did not happen, because it is the way, it is the dharma which has protected the whole of India. In that way, we are very much fortunate, and we should not lose the elements of dharma in our daily life. If we lose the concept of dharma, then sure we are going to hell in this life, not after the life. It is my humble submission to all of you, and I will be happy to take questions if you have any in between. Thanks to all. Namo Namah.
प्रश्नाः सन्ति चेत् प्रष्टुं शक्नुवन्ति. अस्तु महोदय, इदानीं समयः अतीतः.
Yes, sir.
एवं प्रकारेण तत्र सामान्यविषयाः सामाजिकविषये विस्तृतरूपेण चर्चा इमे आचार्याः तत्र चर्चां कृतवन्तः. एतेभ्यः आचार्येभ्यः अस्माकं पक्षतः एवं MMD पक्षतः अत्यन्तं धन्यवादान् वितनोमि. पुनः एतेषां चर्चा भवति अस्मिन् विषये पुनः भवति अन्यं विषयम् आधारीकृत्य इमे उद्बोधयन्ति. श्वः साक्षात् 10 वादने इमे आगच्छन्ति, तदानीं वयं श्रोतुं शक्नुमः. धन्यवादः.